Menyaksikan Closing Bell dalam segmen Mining Zone, kita akan lanjutkan kembali dialog bersama dengan Dileep Srivastava, Direktur dan Sekretaris Perusahaan Bumi Resources, dan juga Muhammad Arif, Sekjen Asosiasi Pemasok Energi dan Batubara Indonesia, Aspebindo. Saya akan kembali ke Mr. Dileep. Mr. Dileep, as you mentioned about the DMO, how are companies prepared to fulfill their DMO obligation for the state electricity company, although the price of coal is weakening, but it is still higher compared to the coal prices set for the state electricity company, which is about $70 per ton, since the export activity is still more attractive due to higher prices and also strong demand Western countries entering the winter. Please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Our challenge is how do we increase production when there is such heavy rain, because we are open cut mining. Now, as far as the DMO is concerned, what we do is we accord it the highest priority. Whatever we produce, we make sure that we are meeting our RKAB requirement for the month. And it is only after that that we export. Now, that's part of our national priority, and that's what we do as part of our philosophy. Now, we give it the highest priority, and we hope that there can be, with the new government regulation that is now being conceived of BLU and other things, we hope that that can bring a more level playing field where all producers of coal can actually put their share of their DMO requirement together, so that not just the 4 or 5 larger producers, are the ones that are meeting bulk of the requirement. I think that would be a good thing, to have a level playing field. But yes, you're right. I mean, the PLN price is $70 when the international realized price that we can get actually for exports is $150, $160 per ton. But then that is part of a national policy and regulation, and we comply with it. So we do not have a comment on that. We hope that the government can look kindly upon the sector. And our worry really is that at this point of time, with the increasing coal shortage and lack of supply because there is no funding for it, and because of the medium-term, long-term move to renewables, I'm afraid coal will continue to be short. The price is likely to continue remaining high. And in the absence of adequate supply, it will be difficult to bring international prices down.
So have you prepared for the worst case if government banned the export again as the earlier of this year because of the shortages of supply in PLN?
Well, if they have a more level playing field for supply, now we are producing 600 million tons to 620 million tons a year. And the country really requires 120, 130 million tons, which is maybe 20% or 25%. Now, if all producers are able to give 25%, I don't think there should be a problem. What we wind up doing as Bumi is we actually supply around 30% of what we produce domestically. So if there's a more level playing field, it'll make it fairer and it'll make it more just to everybody. And there can be some way of recompensing or compensating for the differences in prices. I think there is a scheme that is being thought about there.
Oke, I'll move to Mr. Arif. Mas Arif, apakah Anda melihat bahwa pemerintah ini ada kemungkinan untuk melarang kembali ekspor? Karena kalau kita lihat juga harga batu bara global ini kan masih tinggi begitu dibandingkan dengan tahun lalu. Bahkan diperkirakan tadi Anda juga mengatakan masih di atas $300. Begitu, bagaimana sebetulnya perusahaan-perusahaan tanah air ini memastikan DMO bagi PLN?
Ya, jadi sebenarnya kita belajar banyak ya dari situasi larangan ekspor di awal tahun ini, dan sebenarnya dari para pengusaha batubara, PLN dan juga pemerintah sudah memiliki solusi yang sebenarnya sangat kita tunggu-tunggu, yaitu BLU, di mana kita melihat betul bahwa PLTU di PLN itu HOP-nya hampir sampai 3 hari, 2 hari, stok mereka terbatas. Memang ini balik lagi ke komersil gitu ya. Secara komersil memang disparitas harga sangat-sangat jauh. Nah, kita belajar dari ekspor kemarin, sebenarnya itu juga bukan menjadi solusi yang menjawab semuanya gitu, tapi bagaimana sebenarnya pemerintah dengan konsep BLU itu yang sudah diformulasi dalam setahun kebelakang ini bisa segera diterapkan gitu. Karena memang dari sisi pricing sungguh disparitas ini sangat jauh. Walaupun memang secara ongkos produksi dan lain-lain kita tidak mengalami kenaikan kecuali dari BBM dan lain-lain, tapi di sini juga harus kita ingat bahwa dari sektor tongkang pun infrastruktur dari pengiriman itu juga akan menjadi satu challenge yang baru. Jadi sinyal bahwa harga batu bara ini akan konsisten di angka tertinggi apabila pemerintah tidak melakukan action terhadap konsep BLU itu, menurut saya PLN akan sangat kesulitan gitu Mbak untuk menghadapi ini. Jadi sebenarnya ini kan tinggal bagaimana koordinasi antara Kementerian SDM dan Kementerian Keuangan bisa segera memutuskan ini. Dan harapannya kan memang waktu itu juga sudah ada informasi bahwa tahun depan akan segera diberlakukan. Jadi sebenarnya kami dari asosiasi sangat mengharapkan dan sangat mendorong BLU segera diterapkan sehingga pengusaha-pengusaha nasional ini ya dapat melakukan demo-nya ataupun ya full support ke dalam PLN. Walaupun sebenarnya banyaklah pengusaha-pengusaha ini yang sangat-sangat komit untuk pemasok domestik gitu ya, memasok domestik, karena dari SDM pun juga sudah melakukan penugasan dan dari PLN pun menginformasikan sebenarnya dari stok batu ini juga sudah lumayan memenuhi lah, banyak perubahan dan juga improvisasi dari regulasi yang ada. Tinggal bagaimana BLU ini bisa men-secure landscape dari supply PLN ke depan, karena yang saya lihat trennya akan masih seperti ini gitu. Jadi kalau tidak ada terobosan, ya jangan sampai kita mengulangi krisis yang ada di tahun kemarin. Itu sih menurut saya.
Oke, jadi memang urgensi harapan juga segera diberlakukannya BLU ini demi kepastian DMO juga bagi produsen-produsen batubara tanah air. Saya akan kembali ke Mr. Dileep. Mr. Dileep, as we know, the gas prices is also higher. And how do you see the competitiveness of the price of coal compared to the gas? Will be the gas is more attractive of coal for power generation in Europe during the Ukraine and Russia war is still ongoing?
Well, it's different in Europe, and it's definitely different in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
But in Europe, they have now classified gas as a renewable, as a green. Earlier, they had banned gas, so they were trying to ban gas. Our calculation shows that if natural gas prices remain at levels of $6, $7, $8, I think it'll be more economic to use coal, even if the coal price is much higher than what it is today. Whether it is 400, whether it is 500, it is still more economic to use it. Mm. So basically, it's really a function of availability, because if gas is not available, coal is not available, whatever little is available, the price will be very high. And the European specifications for coal are a bit tight. They are very tight. And while Australia could possibly, and South Africa and US and Colombia can supply that quality of coal, it is not that easy for Indonesia either to produce that quantity of coal, because only 20-25% is more the high-ranked clean variety. But whatever there is, they need to pay whatever are the international prices applicable in Asia, and not the prices that are applicable in Europe, which is API 2 and others which they insist on.
Okay.
But from our side, we do supply small quantities, largely because of availability issues, to 1 or 2 countries in Europe. And there is interest definitely from 2-3 other countries, which we are discussing. And once the weather improves, we can look at catering to their requirements.
Okay, Dileep, as the Europe is already fulfilled their supply so that the gas is already sufficient for their energy supply, do you think that the demand of coal from Indonesia is still a high demand to Europe, or do you see will be a decline for it?
As far as EU is concerned, they used to buy 45-50 million tons from Europe of coal, regardless of the gas supply. If gas is short, they may require more because they are restarting their plants, whether it's in Germany, whether it's in Italy, whether it's in Spain. They're even thinking of UK. And Poland is already on coal. Now, if anything happens to gas during the winter, now right now the winter is still quite warm in Europe, so the demand for power hasn't really gone up. And maybe they've been able to build up a little bit of some gas stockpile. And they're also trying to rely on the US for LNG and other things, but that's not very easy. But the fallback in winter, if it is very severe, if it gets very cold, there could be a run on power, and they could require more. And I also feel that during winter, there's a risk that Russian ports may freeze up, in which case there may be difficulty in exporting coal out of Russia. So it can create further shortages. So I think there is an effort by the Europeans to also build up stocks of coal, quite apart from whatever they are doing on gas.
Okay. I'll move to Mr.
But I don't think they can bank on lower prices.
Okay, we already got your notes, and then I will move to Mr. Arif. Mas Arif, apakah Anda melihat meskipun Eropa telah memenuhi pasokan gasnya untuk kebutuhan energi menjelang musim dingin di akhir tahun ini, apakah permintaan batubara Indonesia ke Eropa ini masih akan tetap meningkat, Mas Arif?
Ya, saya lihat juga primary market kita ya. Jadi saya rasa itu bukan menjadi fokus utama dari produsen-produsen di Indonesia gitu ya, karena secara geografikal juga sangat jauh. Justru saya melihat ini concern bagi pasokan domestik gitu, karena tadi balik lagi ke konsep BLU, ini saya concern di mana kebutuhan PLN ini akan selalu meningkat sampai 2030. Jadi saya melihat momentum ini sebenarnya untuk menjadi refleksi policy yang pemerintah harus ambil gitu, karena sebenarnya traditionally market kita adalah China, India gitu ya. Eropa ini adalah sebenarnya market tambahan lah, additional bagi kita. Nah, dengan situasi yang sangat kompleks ini, kita harus mengedepankan ketahanan energi nasional kita sebenarnya kan. Cuman kita terbentur dengan pricing dan juga spike up di market, di mana disparitas harga ini terlalu jauh. Jadi mungkin saya agak bergeser sedikit fokusnya, justru dengan forum ini saya mau menyampaikan ini menjadi ketukan bagi pemerintah, di mana solusi yang sudah dibicarakan selama setahun ini agar bisa dapat direalisasikan, karena sinyal-sinyalnya sudah banyak dari sisi geopolitik, market, dan juga pricing yang ada di lapangan gitu. Jadi it's time to take action bagi pemerintah dan para pemasok sebenarnya full support gitu dari diskusi yang sudah ada.
Oke, jadi memang pemenuhan dalam negeri yang diutamakan ya Mas Arif ya. Terima kasih atas waktu dan ulasannya Dileep Srivastava, Direktur dan Sekretaris Perusahaan Bumi Resources, dan juga Muhammad Arif, Sekjen Asosiasi Pemasok Energi dan Batubara Indonesia, Aspebindo, telah bergabung bersama kami dalam segmen Mining Zone.